So then, yeah, we got a couple of questions from some of the people that are watching live right now. We'll start off with our boy Matthew Balcom, that's currently wearing his Ed Coan Greatest of All Time shirt that we released
Nice.
a year or two ago, maybe. He asks, "What's the number one thing that you've learned from Mark?"
More in less from the powerlifting side, but more from the business side and how hard he had to work. But it wasn't like it was an overnight success. You know, like what they say people don't see what went on for years and years and how hard he worked to get to where he was and to be in the position that he is in now. It just didn't happen overnight. He took his time and just like with powerlifting program, he dotted his I's and crossed his T's and said, if I do this now on week 1 by week, but usually it takes months and years, for this to come to fruition, this is what I plan on happening because I'm going to put all that work in all the way up to that point. So more of that, and you could see how a powerlifting could help out in real life and business if you apply some of the same rules. So yeah, obviously he's successful, but because he puts in the work, but he puts in the right work. He doesn't do the wrong assistance work. He does all the right stuff. He learns from the right people. He realizes that, you know what, I don't know everything, but I'm going to know more than I did before, which is going to get me better. And you just keep building because you know you can get better. That's what he did. That's pretty damn cool.
Yeah. How much of that do you think was learned inside the gym?
The hard work ethic was definitely learned in the gym. And then it's like, how bad do you want it? You know, he had his mom and dad, his wife, they instilled on him and gave him enough confidence to go ahead and do it, which would be your spotters and your workout partners, if you equate it the same way.
Yeah, that's incredible. All right, so next question we have, let's see, we got from Mark Cole. He asks, what's the best way for an older lifter to help get rid of lower back and knee pain when doing squats?
Figure out where it's coming from, whether it's a structural thing or whether it's coming from an imbalance, a weakness from some other thing. And then you got guys like Kelly Starrett, Stuart McGill, Dr. Andrew Locke. You got a guy named Tony Rogers. You got Muscle Doc. You got all these freaking people that are at your access to try to figure it out. And then take a look at your technique. I did a recent thing with Squat University, Aaron, and you could see just by slowing down some of the things that you do as far as technique wise, how you can correct it where that might be the cause of your problem. So it's basically breaking it down and taking the time to learn what's wrong and doing the things that you have to do to get it better. And don't overtrain. If you're an older lifter, I don't recommend really super high reps with a gigantic load on them. I wouldn't do anything more than 5, and I would do more mini cycles than I would long drawn out cycles because you can't handle it. That's
great.
about it.
Yeah, that actually leads into the next question from Rob. And if you can dive a little bit further deeper into more advice for older lifters, he asks if you still train heavy, and what advice do you have for power lifters over 55?
Well, I'm 57 now. I would have to say that technique is the most important. And then, as I said, I would not strain yourself so hard to do high reps because your recovery rate is so much shorter now. And I would make sure you stick to the basics, do them perfect, and say, where am I weak at? Where are my aches and pains at? What do I have to do to get these better? So all of a sudden you might have to do more prehab stuff before you start and prehab stuff later to enable you to be able to do the lift correctly. If you can do the lift correctly after you've been doing it for a long period of time, you don't need a lot of other work after that. You just need a certain amount of stimulus in the right way. And if you could squat, bench, and deadlift and do a couple exercises perfectly, that actually is a good form of rehab also.